Hey there, welcome to In the World of Female Sports podcast. I'm Larissa Maloney, your host and founder of Blue Crush Inc., in which I'm a team strategist, motivational speaker, and former professional beach volleyball athlete. Each week, I will bring you a guest or a motivational message that will help empower you as a female athlete or coach with confidence, mental strength, and with the strategies and tools to perform at the highest level. Get ready to get motivated and inspired by these amazing individuals. Now, let's dive into the episode. All right, and welcome back to another episode of In the World of Female Sports. I'm your host, Larissa Maloney. We have an amazing basketball star on the line. Everybody say hey to Maci Morris. What's going on, Maci?
Hey, not much. Just enjoying my day.
There you go. So, all right, so let's start off. Where were you born? How did you get into the game of basketball?
So I was born in a small town in eastern Kentucky called Hazard, and I got into basketball through my dad, who has been a boys high school basketball coach since I was born. I mean, he was coaching before I was born, but so I was pretty much born into basketball, I guess.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. So, did he teach? Obviously, he taught you the game.
He did. He taught me almost everything I know, almost.
Uh,
I mean,
uh,
obviously, college taught me a lot, and afterwards.
yeah. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother.
Does he play as
His
well?
name is Vic. Yeah, he played in high school, but he didn't play in college. No.
Gotcha. Really, really cool. So, you were born in Kentucky. So, were you guys University of Kentucky fans growing up?
We were. So, like, in Kentucky, we joke about how, like, once you're born, you either become a Kentucky fan or a Louisville fan.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's a Kentucky fan.
So it was your dream to go to University of Kentucky.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, when I was little, it was.
Gotcha. So
But it
tell
kind of changed once I got older.
Okay, so tell me about the recruiting process.
So, I started getting recruited by colleges when I was in eighth grade.
Wow.
And my first offer was actually from Louisville. And
Look at that.
uh, yeah. So they were one of my top schools for a long time, and then I had built some really great relationships with other coaches from other schools, and was really looking into them. And Kentucky offered me as well, and my top schools were them, Marquette, Dayton, Ohio State was looking at me, and NC State was one of my top schools as well. And so, just trying to get a relationship with them, and then I had some home visits happen, and then like Kentucky was like one of my top schools, but like I really didn't think I was going to go to Kentucky. And then Coach Mitchell and one of his assistants came up to my house for a home visit, and I committed that night. I had never visited the
Wow.
UK or anything, just committed that night.
Wow. So what was like the turning point for you then?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what was the turning point for you? Like why was it like, okay, nope, no one else, I'm going there.
I mean, to be honest, like, I had just been praying about God just like giving me a sign or like just pointing me in the right directions that I should go.
Yeah.
And that night, I just got this like gut feeling, like, hey, you need to like commit to Kentucky. Like that's where you need to go. And so I just went with my gut, and I just felt like that's where God was telling me to go, and so I committed.
Wow. That's cool. And so was your dad on board with that?
Yeah, he totally was. I mean, he's a huge Kentucky fan, so he was really glad that I committed there.
Yeah, I bet. So how was your experience at Kentucky? Was it everything that you hoped for?
Honestly, it had a lot of ups and downs. Like I don't think like what I went through was anything that I would have expected. I mean, my freshman year I thought was amazing, and then after our season, we had like 7 or 8 people transfer.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, so it changed our program a lot. And so like the next year we only had I think 6 scholarship players, 6 or 7. So
Wow.
we had to have, and we lost all of our commits from that. We lost 3 of our assistants had left as well. So um, it was like 7 of us, and then Coach Mitchell, and so we had to have tryouts to get some walk-ons on the team, and we still did. We had a great season my sophomore year, so it was really fun. We did what we needed to do, and we still made the tournament, and we
Wow.
won a game in the tournament. So that was good. The next year was a little rough and rocky, but I mean, I think we overcame that really well and ended up having a great senior year. So there were
Gotcha.
some ups and downs, but it made me a better person for sure.
Yeah. So I know you said before to me about being an underdog. Is that something that you've always you had to, overcome some things to succeed in life and in sports?
Yeah, so I grew up, like I said, I grew up in like a real small town in Kentucky, and so a lot of people don't get recruited or get an opportunity to play at a big Division I school
Yeah.
from where I'm from, and so a lot of people really doubted me when I was getting recruited, and when I signed with UK, a lot of people didn't think I was going to be able to make it. They didn't think I was going to be able to play at all, and so I mean, I just used that for motivation,
Oh
and
yeah.
I worked my butt off, and I ended up starting my freshman year and started in all 4 years. And so, I mean, a lot of people um, said I was going to be too slow, not strong enough, going to be able to play in the SEC, and then I ended up being an all SEC player. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, just having to use people's doubt for motivation.
Right. So who are
And
these people,
yeah,
by the way?
you know, just
And
people
what do they
from
know about basketball?
exactly, obviously not a lot.
Yeah.
But there was some like people from back home, people over across the state, like writers and journalists.
Yeah.
They're just saying like that, like shoes aren't ready for that, like the physicality of that. So I just took it as a challenge.
Right. And like when you get those messages or somebody does like a negative write up, does it affect you honestly?
I wouldn't say in a negative way. I think it just makes me want to prove them wrong.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's really good because I mean, it could affect you either way, right? It could be
Right. I mean, people
crippling or
can feel
not.
really bitter about it, or they can take it and look at it as an opportunity to get better and show people that you do deserve to be where you're at.
Exactly. Exactly. So even though you started as a freshman, did you still have that a tough time being that starter? Was there a lot of younger girls that came in that still challenged your position?
Like I said, my sophomore year we didn't have any commits come in, so that wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
And then like by that time, I kind of like me and my point guard, we were like the leaders of the team, so we kind of like that was our position. Like, don't get me wrong, we still worked hard and tried.
Yeah.
We like pushed ourselves every day to be the best we could be, but like we ours was more like we had to set the tone for ourselves and other rather than like players coming in and trying to take our spot and push ourselves from that.
Yeah. Got you. So you guys took that leadership role, and kind of ran with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So what kind of leader were you for Kentucky?
So at first, I was more of like lead by example
Yeah.
and just like do the right thing every time, and like people will follow your lead. But we kind of learned quickly, especially through my junior year, like that's not always going to be the best option. Sometimes you need to be a vocal leader, and like you have to tell people what needs to happen, and like tell them like this is how we do things, because not everybody is going to show up in the gym when you do and work as hard as you do. Sometimes you have to call people out. Sometimes you have to do the things that you don't want to do. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations if you want yourself and the team to be the best it can be.
Right. So was that easy for you to be a vocal leader? I know leading by example on the court, you did very well. Was it easy being vocal in that way?
No, I'm a very quiet person, and
Okay.
so like my coach would encourage me and just like really just like push me to like be more vocal in practice. He would like we'd have meetings and just like I need to hear you, whether it's just talking on defensive end or like just talking to other players, encouraging them, just something just like he said you got to be come out of your comfort zone, and so that was a really big growth area that I had to improve in, and so I think my going through that my junior year and just experiencing that really took me to another level as a player.
Yeah. Did you do anything in particular to help in that area that you can remember?
So I think because one time we kind of got in trouble for not speaking, and he had a meeting with us, and he's like, you have to figure out like a way to make yourself talk, and so like he's like, you have to either like hold yourself like both like look at your partner, whoever, and like make them hold yourself accountable, or like you have to come up with a way that makes yourself talk. So for me, it was like I try to talk in every drill or what, no matter what was happening, I just try to speak. And like if I ever felt myself like going a certain amount of time without talking, like I try to make up for that in the next minute or whatever time period I set for myself.
Right, right. It's super hard, especially if you're not used to leading in that way. And could you tell your teammates were getting, a lot of positive things happening for them because you were encouraging them vocally?
I Yeah, so my junior year was a little rocky just because I went from someone not saying much to then like telling people this and that, and so like at first they were a little standoffish, but I think
Yeah,
after the junior, seeing the junior how the my junior year ended up and like our results, they understood like what we were telling them. They needed to listen and like take that, like listen to that and like put it into work, because without them doing what we tell them to do, like we're not going to be as successful. And like we had like several meetings and we just like told them like, hey, what we're telling you is not trying to put you down or hurt you. It's trying to help
right,
build this team and be successful, because all of us here want to win, and that's like our main goal.
right. And like, we're all female, so when someone else is telling us something, a lot of the times we, take that defensive mode of,
Hmm.
who are you to who are you to tell me da da da
Right.
da.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
how did you like navigate between trying to like tell them what to do to to kind of saying, this is what's best for the team?
So my junior year, we lost two. From my sophomore year, we lost two of our best players, and so we got a lot of freshmen coming in and JUCO transfers. So junior year, I kind of learned their personalities, and so my senior year,
Yeah.
I like would approach each one of them differently on how I would communicate with them,
Oh
because
yeah.
some of them could handle me yelling, but some of them I needed to go in and talk to them one on one, and some I just needed to address it as a group.
Yep.
So you just have to learn like your teammates and like be able to address them in different ways, and
Yeah.
like let them understand like where you're coming from is like from a place of love rather than just like hate or just like discouraging them.
Yeah, absolutely. And those like qualities aren't, just a good teammate, but that sounds like a good, qualities for coaches as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we had that. And we've had conversations with our coach about that. Like, hey, like you have to understand. Like, we know, like in the heat of the moment, like you yelling at us, okay, that's fine. But like when you break things down, like some people will understand things differently. Like people receive and interpret information differently on how you tell them.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was a good learning experience for all of us, I think.
I gotcha. So what were the directions that you were most receptive to? Were you, if somebody yells at you, then get motivated by it, or was it a different kind of communication style for you?
So with my coach, I responded better if he yelled at me, but like with my teammates, I mean, if they needed to get onto me, like I was um, receptive with that, but like definitely just be able to communicate and like understand what they're trying to tell me. So just having like that one-on-one was
Yeah,
really helpful.
definitely. Definitely. So tell me about what's going on right now. Where are you at? What's going on?
So right now I'm in Washington D.C. where I've been involved with a training camp with the Washington Mystics,
Wow.
and they were very gracious of just allowing me to be come on and sign a contract with them. So I'm very appreciative of them. But unfortunately, I got waived today. But I'm still very appreciative of the opportunity and how much I've learned from the coaching staff and the players there. It's a great organization, and I wish them the best.
Yeah. So tell me how this trip went. Did you go there for a week? Was it just a couple of days to see, if it was the right fit? How does it work?
So I came up on May 3rd and worked out, and then like training camp officially started on that Sunday the 5th. And so it was basically like going through practices. We did weights, we did um, like drills, we played pickup, different things like that, and scrimmage. This past weekend we went to Minnesota and played the Minnesota Lynx. So I actually got to play in at least one game, so that was really
Wow.
cool and exciting. So um, basically there's like, I think there's like 12-person roster, and so there's like, I think maybe 16 of us right now in training camp, and so everybody's just like fighting for a spot pretty
Oh
much.
yeah. Oh yeah. So how did that feel, the ups and downs of every day of, the person standing next to you is your competition?
You know, some places I've heard it's very like people are really like not. I guess they're just really competitive, and so they come off as mean or whatever. But like I think here in Washington, like the players were just so helpful. Like
Mm.
yeah, we're like competing against each other, but at the same time, like they were there to help and like get you better. Like they were just, it was awesome. I'm really glad that I got to be a part of this team
Yeah.
for a little bit anyway.
Yeah. So I know obviously, getting that information back is super, super hard. And especially if it's something that you are actually, invested in and looking forward to. How do you use these times? Because a lot of young females go through it with rejection and, they start to doubt themselves and doubt their abilities. Um, how do you feel about that?
I don't think, I think what, when you get like rejected or something, it's just an opportunity for you to get better and to improve and to see what you need to work on to become the best you can be. I mean, it's disappointing, but at the same time, it's like an opportunity to grow and
Yeah.
better yourself as a player. And so, like for me right now, is like they tell me what the areas I can improve in, and so I'm gonna go and do that. I'm gonna go to work and do that, and then I'm gonna go overseas and play. And then next year I could get picked up by them or get a training camp invited again by them, or another team could pick me up. So you always just got to stay positive, I think, and never get too down, because then that's when you quit working and um, you when you're not confident in yourself, you're like your play that shows in the way you play. So I think just staying confident and knowing that like if you put the work in, like it's going to show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's your plan from here on out? So obviously go back home and work on this stuff. Are you planning on playing overseas?
I am. So that will happen in the fall, and my agent, he's communicating with the people over different countries and to see where the best fit for me will be. And whenever he gets all that settled, we'll sign the contract and I'll head over there in the fall.
Wow. So any places that like, you're hoping to go to?
Not exactly. I mean, I would love like to be in like the Mediterranean area, but because it's just beautiful. But
Yeah.
anywhere it would take me, I'd be happy with. Honestly.
Yeah. That's so cool. So your dad is a big part of your life and a big part of basketball as well. When you go through, adversity or obstacles, is he someone that you usually call?
Yeah. So especially with like basketball, um, he's. I mean, he played college basketball and he's been around it his whole life, so he knows a lot of what I go through. So anytime I'm in a slump or I feel like I haven't performed the best I could, he always shoot me a text or he'll call me and just like we'll just talk about it. And he's always just like, get back in the gym. He said that's the best way to get better and get your confidence back up is just to work. And so I mean, he's always been, he's been hard on me, but at the same time it's made me into the player I am and the person I am today.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. Um, so are you back home in Kentucky? Is that where you're going back to?
Yes, so I'll be going back to, I'll fly back to Lexington tomorrow, and then I'll probably go back home for a couple of days, and then probably head back up to Lexington to start working out again.
Start to recoup. Cool. So I read that one of your mottos or something that's super important to you is living in the moment. What does that mean to you?
Just like, don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future, like, worry about the now because you're not going to be able to change the past, and what you're doing right now, what you're going to do right now is going to affect the future. So you got to be able to make the most of now because like you're not going to get it back.
Oh, yeah.
So just enjoy it because like you're never going to get that time that you have right now back. And so just to make the most of it every day.
Definitely. So I did read an article about you getting invited to a big coaches workshop, right?
Yes.
So how is that? Like, is it in your future to coach, or is it just something that you stumbled upon?
So I mean, like my dad, he was a coach, and like a lot of people in my family are coaches, and so like I just feel like that is in my blood. And I mean,
Yeah.
since I was in high school, like I always would help my teammates and stuff, and like people on my team would even call me coach. I mean, Coach Mitchell at UK would joke around and call me Coach Morris because I'd be trying to like say this is what we need to do. And so I mean, I think it's just kind of like I'm gonna have to be a coach at some point.
Yeah. So it's in there, yeah. So what was the conference that you went to that you got invited to?
So I actually ended up not being able to go because I got invited to a combine. Well, actually, I got invited to do the 3-point competition in Minnesota at the boys Final Four this year, and then I went down to the combine in Tampa, so I wasn't be able to do the coaching clinic.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But that would have been a really good opportunity, especially if coaching is in your future.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna try to get to it next year.
Very, very cool. So I have one final question for you, and that's what's the best advice that someone has given to you that you can pass on to all of our female athletes that are listening to this?
I think the best advice I could give is just like to never give up on your dream and just no matter what somebody says, like just continue to work because it might not happen when you want it to happen, but as long as you just keep working at it, like good things will come out of it.
Definitely. Definitely. Keep working. I love that. So how can everyone stay up to date with what you're doing? See where you're going to travel to overseas to play professionally because that's super exciting. Do you have a Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Maci for Morris, and it's Maci with an I, so Maci for Morris. And then Twitter is Maci for Mo. that's where I post most of my things.
Perfect. All right, we will check you out, and we wish you so much luck in the future, in the fall, and whatever else is coming up for you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Maci.
Okay, bye-bye.